Today we have the one and only Helen Thacker joining us here on Small Business Studios podcast, all the way from the UK. She's a six-figure sales coach who is super passionate about women in business and finding confidence in yourself. Now, if you're a male in business as well, don't click out of this episode. There are so many important topics that we're going to touch on. Helen has her own podcast called Purpose, Potential and Power, and we're going to talk about that shortly. So let's get started. So how are you today, Helen?
I am so good. I'm so excited to be here, Jasmine. Thank you so much for inviting me on your podcast. It's amazing.
Thank you so much for joining me. I'm super excited to have you here on Small Business Studios podcast. I would love to start off by just hearing a little bit more about you. Tell our audience who you are and what you do just quickly, because we'll jump into it a bit more soon.
Absolutely. Awesome. So I'm Helen. I am based over in the UK. I love the fact we've connected like literally across the other side of the world. So I'm a sales and business mentor, and what I do is I help people to develop a really strong, powerful personal brand, impactful content. And it's all about helping you to be seen and helping you to find your authentic voice, stand out amongst the crowd, and use your social media platform to increase your sales. So, I've been a businesswoman for 19 years, and I've just taken all my business experience, all my experience of building a business online, and I absolutely love social media. And now I'm just helping other entrepreneurs to have incredible businesses and grow using Instagram is my main platform.
Oh, lovely. I'm sure you have a lot of wealth of knowledge with 19 years of experience in your entrepreneurial journey. So that's exciting. What did your life look like prior to jumping into entrepreneur? Were you working in corporate, or what did it look like prior?
Yeah, so I have had so many different kind of parts to my journey in terms of businesswoman. I just want to say to anybody that is perhaps not where they are where they want to be right now, or they're pivoting and they're changing and they're worrying that is something that they shouldn't be doing. I just want to say that life is a journey, business life is a journey. And I always think, go with the flow, you will end up where you want to be. So I absolutely started in corporate. I was actually an accountant at PwC. I was the worst accountant in the world. I hated it. But I soon got out, and I actually went and started my own financial recruitment business. So I kind of came out of accountancy and went and started. Really, that was my first sort of taste of sales, my first taste of having a business and how to grow a business. Grew that to six figures. And then I've had a couple of other businesses along the way. But it has been a journey. And I'm sort of where I'm supposed to be right now. But I've always wanted to work for myself. I've always seen the benefits of being your own boss, being in charge of your own diary, your calendar, and just having control of your life. So, it's a big leap to get out of corporate if people are thinking about doing that. But, once you've made that leap, it gives you so much energy and so much freedom. And it just, everything kind of, if you're doing what you're passionate about, of course, you're going to succeed.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you find that you had the drama of, I know when I worked in my corporate job prior in marketing, that I would work until like 12 o'clock at midnight, trying to keep on top of things. Did you find that you also didn't really have a good work-life balance at the start?
I think absolutely. When you're first starting, I think it's one of my core values is integrity. And I think it's really important to be honest about the work that it takes. Starting your own business is hard work, right? It's really hard work. And no one kind of comes into anything and suddenly they're an overnight success. You have to think in periods of years, not months, and definitely not weeks. People will come to me and they say, I've tried building a business, I'm implementing what you're saying, and I'm like, how long have you been doing it for? And they're like, well, like 2 minutes. Okay, so you have to be willing to put in the work to start with. And that work-life balance actually comes, I think, more difficult when you are in that period of time when you're growing your own business. Often people kind of are doing a corporate role at the same time. They're kind of starting their own business and they're wondering when to make that leap. But I think that work-life balance is definitely, you've got to be really honest about the fact that you are going to have to put some work in, put some time in, make some sacrifices. I've missed a lot of family stuff. And I know that this is only a short-term thing. It's something that, it's getting so much easier now, and it has done over the last few weeks, or months, sorry. But at the start, it is very much about you putting you all into the thing that you want to grow long-term and seeing that long-term benefit.
Yeah, no, that's it. And it pays off in the end. And then that's when you really look at controlling your own calendar and you can really pick and choose when you're working. But it does take time to get there for sure.
Absolutely, yeah.
What was the biggest lesson you've faced as a business owner?
Okay, absolutely. Straight away, I am going to say patience because that, right, if you are an entrepreneur, most of us want success to come quickly. You know, we're so passionate about what we do. We want that financial success, that time freedom success, whatever that looks like to you, to happen so quickly. We're so passionate about it and we really want to kind of get there. We want to reach that goal. We see other people having achieved that goal who've gone before us, and we're like, right, okay, that's great. I see that proof of success. If they can do it, I can do it. And we get frustrated. Like, why is this not happening quicker for us? Why am I not there yet? Why am I feeling these like ups and downs? Why am I experiencing like, you know, low months? Why am I experiencing all the kind of challenges that come along? And we don't kind of get to see that for most entrepreneurs, it is a roller coaster ride. It is an up and down. It's a left and a right. It's a thrown upside down. And it takes time. And it is having that long-term mindset. And that has taken me a long time to kind of get to. So throughout my journey, it teaching myself patience and learning patience, to be patient with myself, to be patient with my learning, to be patient with knowing I am going to get there in the end, but like just to embrace the whole journey along the way. That has been a huge part. And I think so many people, this is where people just throw in the towel, they quit, because they don't realize that it is going to take 2, 3, 5, 10 years maybe to grow a successful business or to get to where they really do want to be. You know, you have to have that long-term mentality and just keep putting one foot in front of the other. And it really breaks my heart when I see people quitting and they say they want it. They say they want success so badly, and they really do. They're so passionate. They have a real purpose behind why they want that success. You know, they've got family experiences they want to have with their kids, or places they want to go, and things they want to buy, and houses, and lifestyle choices they want to make. And they throw it all in because they haven't had success, because they haven't been willing to just do the work consistently. So it is about learning to be so patient and gracious with yourself. It's hands down my biggest lesson. I used to be so impatient, and now I just am absolutely willing to be on this journey of learning, and I completely accept that it will take time. I'm not the best yet. I don't want to be the best yet. You know, I'm really good at what I do, really good, but I am not the best, because we're always learning. So I'm always going to be on that journey. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And we're all at different chapters. Yes, we could be scrolling through social media and we see someone who's at a different chapter in their journey. They are at chapter 10 and we're at chapter 2. And it's so easy to compare nowadays with social media. But yeah, I think social media can be very powerful in the fact that you can get encouragement and you can feel empowered to reach that chapter 10. But we just got to keep in mindful that we're not there yet.
Absolutely. Everyone had a day one, right? Everyone had a day one.
Absolutely.
Just remember that.
Yeah. So you have your own podcast and you've just recently rebranded. What was the reason for this rebrand?
Okay, so yeah, it was called the Millionaire Mindset, and now I've renamed it to Purpose, Potential, and Power. And for a couple of reasons, everything kind of came together last week, and I had a complete up level and made a huge business decision myself. And it's one of those moments where like the universe, whatever you believe in, was like all came together, and it was like, right, now is the moment. I'm rebranding, I'm up leveling, and it all makes sense. And the reason behind my kind of the names is because it really so clearly defines what I do. And it so clearly defines how I help my clients. It clearly defines like the point that I'm at in my business journey as well, because my purpose is absolutely to help you be seen. It's to, you know, through my own experience, I have felt very unseen, very unheard. And I know that I've been on my own journey of self-confidence from someone that was really super shy to someone that is now confidently speaking in front of thousands of people. And it's, you know, it's been a journey. And I really know that so many people are held back about speaking about who they really are, about showing up as themselves 100%. So what I do through helping people find their personal brand message, their content, really empowering them to have that confidence is exactly that. Let's define your purpose. let's really fulfill your potential by helping you to create that really strong brand message. And then, let's step into your power, step into your power with the skills and talent that you have and go out there in the world. And yes, it's all come together so perfectly because this describes, like I said, what I do, but also through, how the content and how marketing online can absolutely achieve all of those things, because this is where sales starts. This is where, if you're building a business online, this is where you need to start with your content, and your messaging needs to be so powerful and so strong, and it absolutely needs to have a very defined purpose behind it. So yeah, it all makes sense, but it's just that next time, it's that next up level, it's that next pivot in my own kind of business evolution as a businesswoman.
Yeah, lovely. Because I know when we first connected a couple of weeks ago, is I started like binge watching and binge listening to all your podcasts. And then I jumped on today just to finalize some questions, and I couldn't find it. I'm like, what's going on? But then when I found it, I was like, this is where Helen's going. Like it is very defined, and it's so powerful. Like you just read those words as a listener and you just go, wow, this is going to be powerful. I haven't yet listened to your newest episode, but I'm definitely going to. In the morning, it's 8:30 almost here in Australia, so I'll definitely listen to it tomorrow. But I'm super excited for you.
Thank you. Yeah. It's having a podcast is great. It's great fun, definitely.
So I just wanted to go into the finding your voice and finding confidence. And I know for myself, I've been wanting to do a podcast and a YouTube channel for many a year. And I just found it so confronting, and I just felt very nervous starting one up and worrying what my family and friends would say. And then finally I took the leap, and here I am. And I think we're episode 7 into our podcast and about 16 videos on our YouTube channel. And what would you say to someone who's sitting at home who wants to take that leap but are so nervous about what their family and friends might say?
Okay, this is such a huge conversation, huge topic, because we do worry so much about other people's opinions. And you're talking about putting yourself out there, whether it's a video, a podcast, a YouTube, even going live on Instagram or Facebook. It is a big moment because you are opening yourself up to the world, and you're opening yourself up to, all those people and it's usually your closest friends and family who you're so worried about. We don't care about strangers so much, do we? That's not a problem.
No.
But it's the people we care about their opinions. We value what their thoughts are. And it's difficult. But honestly, I have to say that the minute you find your authentic voice, if you're in business, or if you are even wanting to just make an impact, you want to be somebody that is helping others in some way, the minute that you find your authentic voice and you have that confidence and bravery to become that person and say what you think, everything will explode. If you are not authentically yourself, that is the quickest path to failure. I'm actually just going to put a post about that on my Instagram today because it's so true. And it took me until I was in my mid-40s to actually find that confidence, which is crazy. And I was like, this is ridiculous. How much longer can I sit here and really be worrying about what, my auntie, my high school best friend, my neighbor, my former colleague, my sister, my dad, how long? I mean, I want you, if you are listening to this and you are thinking, okay, yeah, I'm scared, I want you to just listen to what I'm saying and actually kind of maybe apply it to your own life. How long are you going to actually stop yourself from showing yourself to the world? How long are you going to stop the world from being able to see how incredible you are? And how, it's ridiculous that you would then go on for the rest of your life not being so true to yourself and not having that authenticity and empowering yourself with your own voice. Because I thought, I'm going to be 50 soon, and before I know it, this is ridiculous. Am I going to be 50? I'm going to be 60 and still worrying about what people think and not being true to myself? No, that's crazy. So whether you're 20, 30, however old you are, just everything will unlock the minute that you have that confidence. And it is just knowing that being true to yourself will make you so happy. It will make you feel like you can just relax. You don't have to put on a front. It is, and it's energy zapping. It's exhausting trying to be different people in different places. I'm the same person on my podcast, on my Instagram, when you meet me in person, when I coach you. I'm that same person. I'm not going to change and have wear a million different hats, because that's exhausting. And honestly, it will bring you so much joy if you can get to that point when really the world deserves to hear what you've got to say. So go out and do it.
Absolutely. And everybody has a story to share. And I think that's so, so important that, you know what, sometimes it does take that a bit of time to find that confidence, but when you do exactly that, you find so much joy in it. I'm 3 years into Willow and Pine Studios, but I've had a business since 2015. And so I'm only pretty well new to owning my own business and being an entrepreneur. But I've always wanted to start a YouTube channel, and I'd start it and then 24 hours later I'd put it on archive. And then this year I just went, you know what, I've got something to say. I want to empower people, and I'm sure you're the same way. I don't really care for the judgment anymore. I kind of just block it out now, and I just look at that person, that target audience that I am speaking to, instead of looking at my family or my friends wondering what they're thinking.
Yeah, they usually don't understand what we do anyway. Like my mum and dad have not got a clue. They don't understand it whatsoever. And that's fine. I'm not there to serve them. I'm there to be, obviously a good daughter and all of that. But yeah, they're not going to understand it. And so I don't even try. I don't even try anymore. You're right.
No.
Just focus on who you're serving.
Yeah, and they're not your target. So that makes sense.
And people will always have opinions. They always will. You're never going to please all the people all of the time. You know that phrase. And it's so true. It's so true.
So in our podcast, we like to give our listeners actionable pieces of information and tips to implement into their business to see some form of success. And so you're so passionate about building an audience who are completely and utterly obsessed with you. So what is one thing that you would say to the audience to do right now to make some form of change for their audience to be obsessed with them?
Okay, so you need to get really, really clear on the problem that you are solving. We hear this word niche, like you need to niche down. I actually don't believe in niching down in terms of your audience. I can serve many, many different people, but I want you to get so super clear on the problem that you solve, your superpower, what's your zone of genius. And I want you to focus on that, not confuse your audience, and give your audience as much value as possible on that topic on social media. Value added content, we could go down a whole, this is what I do, like help people create incredible, impactful content that, really draws your audience in. But I want you to really focus on the thing that is your zone of genius. Like yours, Jasmine, you're amazing at what you do. And you need to just keep focusing on that and keep honing your craft, keep learning your craft, keep always learning. Like I said, we never, ever get to the point where we are the best at something because we're always learning. So absolutely define what that is and then move forward, and don't kind of worry too much if it slightly pivots or refines over time, because it probably will. But you need to kind of make that move and then start showing your audience exactly how you can serve them through value added content.
It's so important to understand that you are never going to be the best at your order, your target, what you're really focusing on. And my latest podcast was all about domain names, and I actually held it off for an extra fortnight because between the time of recording and the time that it was meant to be published, I learned more information, and I wanted to obviously bring that to my audience, all the information I found out. But I did kind of feel like a bit of an imposter because I'm getting on here and I'm talking about, it was all about domain names. I was talking about domain names, and I've been creating websites since I was 11 years old. So I do know quite a bit. However, I didn't know this one thing, and it made me feel like an imposter in my field. So, and it did actually take me a couple of days after I found out the information to go, okay, I'm not going to know everything. Take in this new information and own up that this is new information to me. I'm still learning, and just take it all in. And like you said, like you've been an entrepreneur for over 19 years now, and you're still learning things. And I think that's so, so powerful to understand that we're not all going to be the best at everything.
Absolutely not. And that's why, don't get too worried with things like imposter syndrome. Like you cannot know everything.
No.
we always compare ourselves, and don't forget, like what we see on Instagram or social media, wherever that is the highlights reel. You know, most entrepreneurs feel some form of imposter syndrome. If they're telling you they're not, they're lying. I'm sorry. They're lying. Because if you want to be the best, you are going to always strive to, you know, better yourself. And that is going to cause you to compare yourself with other people, or question, are you good enough? And that just comes from the passion of wanting to be really, really good at what you do. So that is perfectly normal. And I love that you shared that, because that's important, because being honest about that is huge. We all feel that.
Yeah. And in talking about it, I think will allow people to understand that and see that if they are feeling a bit of an imposter syndrome, that they're not alone. And like you said, it is everything. It is something that we all feel, and all entrepreneurs do feel at some point or another.
Absolutely,
yeah. Well, you've told me about your membership called Inner Circle. Give it a quick promotion. What is it all about, and why should people invest in it?
Oh, thanks, Jasmine. So yeah, my Inner Circle is my monthly membership, where basically it's a really, really super affordable way to get coaching from me. I know that a lot of people can't do that right now, but it's a ridiculous, like it's £27, which I don't know what it is in Aussie dollars. It's, you know, it's a really small monthly investment, but it's a really great space full of other entrepreneurs where you can network. It's really engaged. I love the community there, and I give monthly masterclasses on the topics that I know will help move your business forward. And then you get access to me as well for monthly coaching. So you can ask me personal questions about your business at a really kind of low cost. But I want these masterclasses to be expertise. And yeah, like I said, it's a really great place to come and get that contact with me, that close-ish proximity. But yeah, everyone is welcome. And I appreciate you sharing that, Jasmine. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That's lovely. And so it is available for Australian and international?
We have people all over the world in that. Yeah, absolutely. Come and join in the party. Yeah,
that sounds awesome. Yeah. And I think growing your network is so strong, whether or not it's just in Australia here or just in the UK, but even internationally is huge. So I think that's awesome.
The world is a small place. It's a tiny place, isn't it?
It really is. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Helen. Where can our listeners find you?
So thank you for having me as well. And go and drop me a DM on Instagram. That's the best place. Connect with me there at Helen Thacker. And I love to chat. I love people. I'm a real people person. So I'd love anyone to just come and say hi, slide into my DMs. I personally pick all of those up. And I'd love to get to know all your listeners. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Wow, what an incredible woman Helen is, and thank you so much, Helen, for joining us here on Small Business Studios podcast. It is so encouraging hearing that Helen, who has been an entrepreneur for over 19 years, is still learning to this day and has had to find that patience to see where her business would be today and looking in that long term. How important is it to have that patience and to be looking into the long term and not just here and now? Yes, here and now success would be awesome. However, for a lot of us, it's not the actual reality. Now, I'm going to leave Helen's Instagram link and podcast link in the show notes below, so make sure you go and check that out and support her. And if you've come over from Helen's platform and you're checking us out the first time, my name's Jasmine. I am the owner of Alarm Pine Studios and the host here at Small Business Studios podcast. I'm super passionate about showing the reality behind small businesses, showing you that no matter your background, you can make it happen, and giving you tips and information that you can put into action today to see impact and success in your business. Well, that is all from me this fortnight. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next fortnight.